The power didn't go out, it failed. Permanently. And right now, while you're still standing in your kitchen blinking like a confused lab rat, 70% of the U.S. electrical grid is offline, 45 million Americans just lost access to clean water, and emergency dispatch centers are overloaded or completely dark. You've got 3 days before municipal water pressure collapses, 5 days before hospitals turn into morgues, and less than 12 hours before your city becomes a feeding frenzy of fear, rumor, and the kind of violence desperate people don't hesitate to use. And you're already behind. Because the moment the lights died, so did the illusion that someone was coming to save you. The grid isn't rebooting. The cavalry isn't deploying, and the government isn't working on it. You're living in the opening minutes of a nationwide systems failure that DHS has warned about for a decade, the kind that causes 90% of unprepared civilians to run out of resources by day 3. So listen carefully. Forget hope. Forget normal. Forget everything you thought you knew about safety. Here are the 10 mistakes that will get you killed when the grid goes down. Starting with the one you're probably making right now. Mistake 10. Treating day 1 like it's just a bad Tuesday. Let me paint the picture. The power cuts out. You check your phone. Still got signal, for now. The lights flicker. You laugh. Your neighbor's porch light goes dark. Maybe it's a transformer. Maybe it's rolling blackouts. You pop open the fridge, grab a cold beer, kick your feet up, and say the dumbest words ever muttered in America. I'm sure it'll come back on soon. That's how it starts. Every disaster movie, every obituary, every "he was a good guy" Facebook post written by a cousin in Georgia. Day 1 isn't when things go bad, it's when things go quiet. And that quiet is a liar. You wait. You wait to act. You wait for news. You wait for Dad to say it's okay. You wait because the government always fixes it, right? But guess what? The first 24 hours are your only head start. After that, the shelves are empty, the roads are clogged, and the scared masses start mutating into opportunistic scavengers. This isn't a test. This is it. The people who treat day 1 like a holiday are the ones bartering wedding rings for dog food by day 5. You want to survive? Flip the switch the second the lights go out. Assume it's permanent. Assume the cavalry died in their Humvees. You fill the tub. You drain the water heater. You gather the family. You move into defense posture like it's DEFCON 1. Because hesitation kills. The Red Cross says the average American waits 8 hours before doing anything in a blackout. 8 hours! That's how long it takes for the unprepared to turn into the desperate. Be the freak. Be the overreactor. Be the guy boarding up his windows before the radio even confirms it. Because the guy who waits, he dies with a full fridge, a dead phone, and a dumb smile. Mistake 9. Flashlights everywhere. Spare batteries nowhere. Congratulations. You stocked up on flashlights like it was a rave in the 90s. You've got tactical torches, headlamps, glow sticks, even those little crank-powered ones you bought for your kid's scout badge. Feels good, right? You click them on and think, I'm ready. But here's the part where it all falls apart. Because your entire light plan, it hinges on batteries. And you didn't stock them. Or you stocked the wrong ones, or you left them in the drawer next to your dead remote controls and 13 half-used relés from 2011. Here's the deal. Light is a liability. It's precious. It's dangerous. And it burns out fast. A standard LED flashlight eats through 3 ALA batteries in 6 to 8 hours. Multiply that by every flashlight you plan to use, every night you want to see, every time you flick it on, just to check something, and you're draining power like a frat house before finals. You think your solar charger will save you? Maybe, if you get direct sunlight, if it isn't cloudy, if it isn't winter, if it doesn't break. Otherwise, you're left sitting in the dark, cursing your past self for spending $90 on a flashlight with no plan to feed it. You want light discipline? You want to survive? Here's what you do. 1 light source per person, 1 backup, one red filter, and one pile of batteries that would make a Radio Shack employee cry. AA, AAA, CR123A, whatever your flashlight takes, stock 50 per device. Minimum, store them in a dry box, rotate them every 6 months, and never trust off-brand bulk packs. Ever. And while you're at it, learn to live in the dark. Tape blackout curtains to your windows. Memorize your floor plan. Use night vision goggles if you've got them. Because here's the truth. Light makes you a target. But the worst kind of target is the one holding a dead flashlight, blinking into the void, wondering where it all went wrong. Mistake 8, cooking like you're still on Pinterest. You're hungry. The fridge died 2 days ago. The pantry's full of stuff you don't recognize. But hey, you found the propane stove. You pull out a cast iron skillet, a can of beans, some garlic powder, maybe even some old pasta. You think to yourself, I'm going to cook a nice meal. Real simple, rustic. And just like that, you're dead. Because the smell of food in a blackout is the loudest noise you can make. In a world without power, without restaurants, without 7-Eleven, the scent of cooking meat or hot chili is a siren song for every desperate human within a half mile. You ever been really hungry? I mean 3 days of nothing hungry. You can smell stew from 6 blocks away, and it doesn't smell like dinner. It smells like hope, and hope attracts people, hungry people, desperate people, armed people. You're trying to survive, and you just announced, we have calories, spices, and enough fuel to waste some on rice. Bad idea. Cooking has to become surgical, silent, invisible. You don't grill, you don't fry, you don't bake, you simmer, you boil, you seal that scent inside a pressure cooker if you can. You cook after midnight. You cook behind tarps in sheds with no open windows. You cook like a fugitive making meth in a motel bathroom. And when you're done, you don't scrape the pan. You bury the ashes. You don't dump leftovers. You bury them or burn them with trash. Because cooking is not a comfort ritual anymore. It's an intelligence leak. You don't want to be the house that smells like chicken. You want to be the house that smells like nothing at all. Like abandonment, like fear. That's how you stay safe. That's how you keep your beans. And if you can't handle that, go ahead, fire up the grill. The neighbors will be over shortly, and they won't bring potato salad. Mistake 7. Believing that locks stop people who are starving you lock the doors, double-bolted, dead latch, maybe even a smart lock. Not that it matters, Wi-Fi's dead, remember? You slid a chair under the doorknob. Felt pretty good. Safe. But let me tell you something and let it burn into your brain. Locks are not walls. They're suggestions. To a hungry man with a hammer, a lock is a polite speed bump on the way to your pantry. You think your front door matters? Most residential doors in America are hollow core garbage, made of compressed sawdust and shame. They splinter with one kick. The frame? Pine. Soft. Crumbles like chalk. I've seen toddlers damage them by accident. And if you think that little metal bolt will save you, go watch a $5 crowbar rip one open in 8 seconds. Now add desperation. Add starvation. Add a person whose kid hasn't eaten in 48 hours. That door doesn't stand a chance. You don't want a lock. You want a delay, a trap, a reason for the intruder to pick another house. Reinforce the frame. Use 3-inch screws into the studs. Add a metal strike plate. Barricade with furniture. Use sandbags, barbell plates, bricks. Weight. Dead weight. Turn your hallway into a kill box. One way in, no way out. You don't aim to stop them. You aim to make it a mistake, and don't forget the windows. You know how many Americans put bars on their doors but leave their ground floor windows open just for air? You're not building a home anymore. You're building a bunker, a trap house, a bad idea for anyone with bad intentions. Because the truth is, locks don't stop people. Pain does, inconvenience does, noise does. Make every inch of entry hurt, because if they want to get in, really want it, they will. The question is, will they survive it? Mistake 6. Trusting your gut. Instead of the math, you think you're intuitive. You think you'll feel it when it gets bad. You think you'll know when it's time to lock the door, when to ration, when to run. You've watched the shows, read the blogs, maybe even played a little too. Much fallout. But here's the thing. Your gut is a liar, especially when it's hungry, especially when it's scared, and especially when it's full of 21st century optimism. That feeling in your chest? That's not instinct. That's boredom mixed with denial. It tells you to wait. It tells you don't be the crazy one. It tells you everything will stabilize soon. Meanwhile, the facts are screaming at you like a freight train. The grid is down. The water stopped. The police scanner is silent or worse, on fire. And you're still waiting for a clear sign to act. You need to stop listening to your gut and start listening to numbers. Cold, dead, impersonal numbers. You've got 2 gallons of water per person per day. That's your cap. You've got 5,000 calories in that pantry. Divide it by mouths and days. You've got 6 candles, 4 batteries, 0 refills. That's not a vibe. That's a countdown. You don't feel like rationing? Too bad. The math says you're dead in 8 days. And here's the dark truth no one wants to hear. The people who survived Katrina, Sandy, Maria, even the Texas freeze, they weren't the ones with the best feelings. They were the ones with the best spreadsheets. They tracked, measured, counted, planned. Because when panic kicks in, your body lies. Your brain fogs. You think it's been 2 days? It's been 5? You think you have enough fuel? You forgot the generator drinks like a frat bro on spring break. You want to survive the collapse? Ditch the gut. Start doing math. Put your brain in charge, not your fear, not your ego, not your fantasy, because your gut was raised in a soft world. And now, the world is sharp. Mistake 5. Believing the people you love won't turn on you. This is the one that breaks people. Not the violence, not the hunger, the betrayal. You spent years building a life. Friends, neighbors, family. You had barbecues. You lent tools. You watched their kids. You made a human connection, and it felt solid, like a wall of trust. But the minute the grid fails, the temperature changes. The lights go out, and so does the mask. You think you're going to ride out the storm with your cousin in the guest room? Wait until their kids start crying for food. Wait until your kid gets a fever and you only have 1 dose of antibiotics left. That neighbor who helped you mow the lawn last summer? Now he wants your fuel. And if you say no, you're the villain. Desperation rewrites loyalty. You think your family's different? Ask the Venezuelans. Ask the Bosnians. Ask the people in New Orleans who had to point guns at their brothers to keep their last gallon of water. The collapse doesn't make people evil. It reveals the hunger under the politeness. Because love without calories is just noise. You can't eat friendship. You can't drink shared memories. When resources vanish, morality doesn't shrink. It snaps. You think you'll talk it out? Make a deal? Share? Sure. Until someone decides sharing isn't enough. Until someone you trusted decides you're the only thing between them and survival. You want to survive? You have to prepare for the worst version of everyone you know. Build alliances, yes, but build them with eyes wide open. Agreements written in steel and reinforced with redundancy. Not handshakes. Not, we'll figure it out. No one figures it out when their kid is dying. They just act. And you need to be ready when they do. Because the hardest day won't be when the lights go out. It'll be when someone you love looks at you like a meal. And you'll either be ready for that, or you'll be dead. Mistake 4. Getting sentimental about stuff that doesn't matter. You're gonna want to save it all. The wedding photos, the vinyl records, the keepsake box from your kid's first birthday, the heirloom dishes, the antique clock, the high school letterman jacket with the ripped sleeve. And here's the cold truth. Every ounce of it is dead weight. You've been trained to attach your soul to objects, to believe that things equal meaning. But in a blackout collapse, things equal liability. Sentiment is what slows you down when you should be running. It's what makes you cry when you should be reinforcing the door. It's what makes you open the safe to get your dad's watch instead of more ammo. You think I'm exaggerating? Ask anyone who's lived through fire, flood, famine, war. The people who survive aren't the ones who carried the past. They're the ones who let it burn. You don't get to be nostalgic when the world is ending. That baby blanket in the attic? Mice nest? That heirloom silver? Trade bait at best. That bookshelf full of college memories? Firewood. You need to become cold, fast, brutal. Not because you don't care, but because you do. And caring about the wrong things will kill you. Survival isn't about preserving the life you had. It's about earning the right to build a new one later. That means letting go. That means triage. If it doesn't feed you, warm you, protect you, or help you hide, it's trash. Turn your home into a machine. Strip it for parts. Use the picture frames for kindling. Cut up the drapes for insulation. Turn the damn dresser into barricade wood. Sentimentality is for people who survive, not for people trying to. You want a future? Stop clinging to the past. Because when you're shivering in a pitch-black house, memories don't make heat. Mistake 3. Thinking mental health is for after the crisis. You stocked the beans, you loaded the magazines, you filled the bathtubs, but you forgot one thing, the thing no prepper wants to talk about. Your brain is your weakest link. You think survival is about calories and bullets. And yeah, that's part of it. But when the grid goes down and the routines collapse, it's not your stomach that breaks first. It's your mind. You've been trained by decades of dopamine on demand. Streaming, scrolling, texting, constant stimulation. Now it's gone. The power's out, the internet's dead, and your brain is chewing itself raw trying to find the next hit. You think that's dramatic? Try going 72 hours without a screen, without light, without music, without news, just your thoughts, and the slow, suffocating realization that no one is coming. That's when the cracks form. That's when paranoia shows up like a stray dog that won't stop scratching. You start mistrusting your own family. You second-guess everything. You lash out. You spiral. And once the spiral starts, you're done. You'll make bad decisions. You'll waste resources. You'll open the door to a threat. Or worse, you'll stop caring altogether. And the people around you? They'll feel it. Panic spreads, depression spreads, and it kills. According to FEMA data from Katrina and Sandy, more people committed suicide in the 6 months after the blackout than died during the event itself. And those were partial blackouts. Urban only. Now scale that nationally. This isn't a sad story. It's a tactical failure. And it's preventable. You want to survive? You need a mental war plan. You need rituals. You need structure. Morning tasks, nighttime checks, chores that simulate purpose. And yes, you need escape valves, books, journals, cards, puzzles, a damn harmonica. Something to keep the gears turning. And if you're in a group, you better start managing morale like a drill sergeant with a psychology degree. Check in. Rotate stress duties. Make space for grief, but don't let it take over. Because a cracked mind doesn't wait to kill you. It kills the people who rely on you. Don't be the broken link in the chain. Train your mind like it's part of your gear. Or it'll fail like everything else that wasn't hardened. Mistake 2. Failing to go dark. Permanently. You got lucky. The initial chaos passed, the crowds thinned out, the looters moved on. You're alive, your family's intact, and now it feels almost normal. Quiet, peaceful, maybe even boring. So you do what all the dead people did before you. You come back online. You light a candle. You cook a warm meal. You turn on a radio, play a song. You step outside with a flashlight. Just for a second. And just like that, you paint a glowing, screaming target on yourself that can be seen a mile away. One candle in a blackout is brighter than the Vegas Strip. And people see it. They smell the food. They hear the noise. And suddenly the peace you built becomes a beacon. You didn't survive. You broadcasted. And now the jackals are coming. There is no such thing as just one night of light. No such thing as just a little music. You go dark, and you stay dark. You eat cold meals. You black out your windows with cardboard blankets or plywood. You use red LEDs only. Flashlights are for enclosed rooms only. You speak in whispers. No laughter, no arguments. No late-night comfort walks in the backyard. You are a shadow, a rumor, a ghost house with no signs of life. And I know what you're thinking. But I survived. I earned a break. No, you earned a chance. That's it. 1 second of slip-up, and someone desperate enough will test your door. And when they hear movement, when they smell bacon, when they see light through the curtains, that chance turns into a gun in your face. You want to celebrate? Do it silently. You want to relax? Wait for power. Because the world outside your door isn't full of survivors. It's full of opportunists. And they're watching for movement. Go dark. Stay dark. Or die lit up like a Christmas invitation to hell. Mistake 1. Thinking you're the hero of this story. This one's gonna hurt. You're not Rambo. You're not Mad Max. You're not the lone wolf prepping legend who outsmarts the marauders and builds a post-collapse utopia with nothing but elbow grease and good intentions. You're just meat with a brain and a number on your back. And the second you start believing you're the hero of this thing, you're already dead. Because heroes take risks. Heroes help strangers. Heroes make speeches about rebuilding. Heroes run into burning buildings because it feels noble. But survival? Real, gritty, ugly survival? It's not a story. It's a grind. There are no arcs, no themes, just days. Endless, thankless days of doing what hurts, what scares you, what makes you feel like a coward just to see one more sunrise. You want to help someone? Fine, but understand what it costs. That food you give away? That's a day your kid doesn't eat? That time you spend fixing someone else's shelter? That's time your own defenses weaken. And the worst part? No one is coming back to thank you. There's no credits rolling, no triumphant music, just more cold nights and hard decisions. You think the guy who makes it to the end is the one with honor? No, it's the one with boundaries, with a switch in their head that flips to animal when needed. The hero dies. The survivor adapts. Now don't misunderstand. This isn't about being heartless. It's about being honest. With yourself, with the world, with the fact that you didn't prep to be popular. You prepped to be alive. Because if you fall into the Hollywood fantasy of the brave, bold savior, you'll hesitate. You'll empathize. You'll die. The grid's down. The lights are gone. And the story's over. You don't get to be the protagonist. You get to be the last man standing. And that, my friend, is the win. That's it. 10 mistakes that will get you killed when the grid goes down. From the tactical to the emotional, from the soft lies to the brutal truths. You're not surviving by chance. You're surviving because you don't screw this up.